Right, welcome back to the Unconventional Coach podcast. And today I am joined with Georgie Cooper. You may know her as Georgie Fit, and we are going to be chatting to you all about coaches having coaches and the experience we've had with online coaches before. And Georgie has unfortunately, her prep has been cancelled. She was prepping for her first ever bodybuilding competition, and obviously that's kind of gone to shit. Fuck you, Corona, you know. So we're kind of going to dive into that. I want to dive into that straight away with you, just sort of your experience with prep, because obviously this was your first prep, and obviously you've got your coach Callum. So how did you go about that whole finding yourself a coach that you actually wanted to prep with?
Okay. So, first of all, hi. I decided that I wanted to do bodybuilding and I wanted to do a competition way before I chose my coach. And I have had coaches previous in the past, but it's never really worked out. So I was always a bit apprehensive about getting a coach for a prep, but I knew it was something that I needed to do. Obviously, for me, competing was something that I'd never done before, and it was just a complete new sort of ball game for me. So I did do my research. I probably didn't do enough research. I'm one of those people that I'm just like, okay, I'm going to get a coach, and then like 20 minutes later I'm like, this is the coach I'm going to get. Like I don't sit back and watch for a few weeks. I just kind of dive straight into it. I actually, funny story, I actually paid a woman. So I was like, right, I want to get a woman because they'll know me better and they know hormones and they get girly things. So I was convinced that a woman coach was going to be the one. So I inquired with a girl and I actually ended up paying her £400 for a 12-week plan, which was going to be half of it was going to be my prep to prep, and the rest of it was going to be the beginning of my prep. I got this document, and no word of a lie, it was the most cookie cutter thing I have ever read. So I messaged her back and said, look, like this plan is not personalized for me. I'm not going to be coaching with you. Can I get a refund? And she said no. So I just took it on the chin, and yeah, I know. I just had to take it as it. I didn't want her as my coach at that point. So
Yeah.
I kind of just had to accept the fact that I had fucked up. And I messaged a few prep coaches, but Callum is someone who really stuck out to me just because I'm doing figure, which is like up in the girls one, so not bikini, but the next one up. And
One.
I wanted to have a prep coach who didn't have loads of girls, because as soon as they have loads of girls, I feel like they lose that well, I don't know if they do, but do you imagine having like 30, 40 bikini girls? You
Yeah.
wouldn't know who's who.
No.
So I picked Callum because he has experience with figure girls. He gets people in very, very good condition.
Mm.
And I just heard really good things about him. So contacted him. And then, yeah, I did about 8 weeks until I prepped. And then we did like 20 weeks. So I will have been with him for coming up to like 3/4 of a year now.
He seems really good. Like, honestly, from what he posts and stuff and just his attitude towards things, he seems like a really good coach. And trust me, they are hard to find, because I myself have had, I think, five coaches, and I can honestly say that I have never had a good coach. I've never had a positive experience with coaches, which is awful, because we're in this industry. Like, we're both coaches, we're both online coaches, and to think that there are people that pay a lot more money, like that bird was £400 and she wouldn't even give you a refund. I think that just shows the kind of people, unfortunately, that are in this industry, and that's why you have to be so careful with who you choose to go with and not just prep with, which I think to prep with someone is such a massive like commitment to them as well. Like I did a very short prep like years ago, and that was shit. Like it was the worst experience ever. It's awful. I've had
Wait,
so
you
many
tried
bad.
to prep for a competition?
I did, yeah. I started, I don't even know how many years ago this is. I think this is maybe like 2 and a bit, 3 years ago. I was like, but I was doing it for all the wrong reasons. I was like, every this was the time where every single person was doing it. I was like, I'm gonna prep. I just been become a PT. I was like, I'm gonna prep because then I'm gonna look fucking sick and people are gonna want me to train them, and my Instagram will look good. I was like, I'll gain all these followers, like. But I did say to myself, I won't prep if, like, because I've got alopecia, so my hair falls out. So I was like, the only time I will stop prep is if my physical and mental health gets compromised. And I have PCOS as well. So, well, I don't even think I have it anymore because, yeah, that's a long story. But yeah, it was awful. Like it was all such cookie cutter shit. And I think that's the problem now with so many.
That's the thing. The online coaching market in general, not even just for prep, just for lifestyle, is so crowded. And I think that once somebody has a bad experience with one, they just kind of assume that every single coach is going to be the same. And I think for me, having had, I don't know if I've had five, that's a lot, girl. I think I've had like four, maybe three coaches. It's kind of come even clearer to me, and this, don't mean to sound up my own ass here,
You be up
just
your own
how
ass, girl.
like just how much of a service I provide
Yeah.
compared to some of the shit that I like. This girl who I paid 400 quid to, I don't think she's even typed me a personal message yet, and I meant to put my prep into her hands. Absolutely not. And then I think that's why when people kind of do come to me and they do join my team, they're just like, what the hell? Because
Mm,
there is just so many terrible, terrible coaches out there, and it's a minefield. And as a general population client, you don't know any better, and you don't have any guidance. There's not a how to do sort of book for
mm,
this. You just
mm.
kind of have to take a stab in the dark, and it shouldn't
Yeah.
really be that way.
No, I think it's really important what you said there about general population, because I find with a lot of girls who have come to me from having previous coaches is they've told me that they've had like a prep plan. They've had a set meal plan. They've had a bodybuilding training split when they're training 3 times a week and are a complete beginner. They're eating chicken and rice 3 times a day, and it's so hard as well to ingrain that out of people once it's been built in that this is what they need to do. And it's so hard, like it's that constant reinforcement of like, you don't
This
need
is
to do
okay.
that. Yeah, like you
Yeah.
don't need to be doing this training split. If you miss one day, you are a general population client. It's not going to matter. A prep client, completely different. But for the majority of them, general population, you don't need to be following a meal plan. You don't need to follow these prep
Yeah. It
plans.
doesn't need to be as precise as people think, and like I couldn't agree with you more. Like some of the people come to me, and I read some of the things that they've been asked to follow before, and it's a really tough thing to kind of train them out of. Like I'll send over a plan, and they'll say, you've just said veg, you haven't specified the
Yeah.
amount or the grams. And I think, no, because you don't need to start weighing out your fucking cucumber. That's
No.
not a thing. You're not on prep. Like, and then
No.
they ask, oh, my carbs are 8 grams under today. Is that okay? And I'm like, I was on prep and it was okay for me.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. I think people that have come from prep coaches, or people or coaches that give this kind of chicken and rice, you have to do
Mhm.
this, or I hate you sort of vibe, is
Yeah.
that they're so worried about putting a foot wrong when actually it's more damaging to them to have such a like toxic sort of mindset with I
Yeah.
must weigh out my cucumber.
Yeah, yeah, massively. And it is hard to train out of people, but I think that's why again it's so important to just do your research. And like, what would you say you've learned from Callum? Because obviously prep is different to general population. And it's such a shame that you couldn't get to the peak week. You will next year, but because I find that so interesting. But like, what would you say you've learned from Callum, and what have you learned in your prep that you can and are now applying to your clients?
So I would happily say that having Callum and investing into Callum, obviously I did it for my own prep, but I would say that that has been more valuable to me than my personal training course,
Oh yeah.
without a doubt. Because I thought I knew a lot before I was with Callum, but it's not opened my eyes to like knowledge particularly, but he has just opened my eyes to all of the variables that need to be considered when you coach somebody. And before I coached him, like it's not like I'm nicking his sort of content at all, but he looked at factors and variables within me, so things like bowel movement, things like digestion, things like sleep, that I would never ever ever have kind of considered with my clients before. So the way that he goes about things, he is a very, like, for me, I'm a very lifestyle coach, so we're chatty and I completely understand where the girls are coming from. Callum is less of a babysitter. He's quite straight to the point, which is nice, and that's what you need for a prep. But the sort of background work that he does and the things that he asks you to sort of take control over and sort of monitor is huge, and it is things that I have taken on board with my clients. Like, I will ask them about caffeine, I will ask them about even their own menstrual cycle. Like, Callum knows more about the menstrual cycle, well, he did, than I did. Honestly, he knows everything about it. So I have definitely taken on a lot from him, and I can happily say that I've become such a better coach from having such a knowledgeable coach for myself.
I think it's really good for coaches to have coaches, because I've had someone, I put out something a while ago about looking to get a coach, and someone messaged me and they were like, but aren't you a coach? And I was like, well, yeah, but there's all these other variables and all these other aspects of having a coach, and an online coach that helps the client, just the accountability aspect of it. That's why a lot of people have a coach. They know how to train themselves, they know to be eating in a calorie deficit, prioritizing protein, all of that jazz, but they won't be accountable to themselves. And that's my problem, is I will not be accountable to myself. And I think that's why it's so important to not only invest your time in your coach, in like learning from them and all of that, but invest money. And if you don't, like, I've made this mistake before. When I first became a personal trainer or online coach, I would be like to all my friends and family, I'll give you free plans, like help you out, like do this, do that. And then by doing that, they never appreciated it and they never stuck to anything because it was fucking free. Like, there needs to be a financial transaction involved in the service, full stop. Otherwise you will not stick to it. That's why I think it's so important to actually pay for it. Like, don't bother paying for all these fucking £9.99 app memberships to Shreddy and whatever people are using.
I hate that Shreddy app. It does my head in.
I haven't really looked into it, but I see it all the time now, and like the bands and stuff, and I'm just like, but it's hard as well, because you're almost like competing with, like, I just say it's like sex appeal. So you've got like some girl with a big bum there, you've got this, you've got that, and you're competing with people that aren't even fucking coaches, and it's so frustrating.
There is just something about having a one-to-one coach, even though they're online. And I feel like people have got over the fact that there's online coaches now and they don't train you in a gym. And actually, I think a lot of people are realizing that they're 1,000 times more valuable than having a one-to-one coach that you see every week. But that accountability is what people pay for. Like, obviously some people will come to a coach without any sort of knowledge on training or mobility or anything like that, nutrition, but a lot of people do know the basics, and for them it's just a case of having that extra pair of eyes just to sort of, for me, I didn't really think much about after prep, but I will keep Callum now until the foreseeable, because he keeps me accountable and he is just a second pair of eyes to sort of look at me, tell me what I need to do, I put it in place, and then we just move forward with it. And I think that's the same for general population, is it's kind of, yeah, you can pay for your £9.99 plan and the workouts might not be even that different to what I'm going to give you, but it's not about that. It's about having that real person on the other end of a phone, and the sort of just the action of checking in and the action of talking to them is going to keep that person accountable. So paying money is what you've got to do. And yes, it's expensive. It is expensive, don't get me wrong, but you get what you pay for, and it is that sort of thing that you're not going to find that accountability anywhere else for any cheaper.
Yeah, 100%. I want to go into sort of like negative experiences you've had with previous coaches, because like I said, I think I've had five or six before. The majority of them I was literally with for about 4 weeks. And
Amazing.
I can say so many negative experiences that I've had, and from those negative experiences with those coaches, I've then flipped it and turned it into a positive for coaching my clients, because I've seen how shit they've done and made sure that I don't repeat their mistakes. So what would you say has been the benefits of yourself having shit coaches in the past for you and your business now?
Okay, you're going to have to explain like at least one good one from you, because I want to hear this. But for me, I haven't had like a horrendous experience with a previous coach. But I have sort of, I'm a bit like you. I don't think I've really stuck with anyone bar Callum for longer than about 2 months. For me, the whole sort of like WhatsApp messaging is just not really a vibe. Like, I just feel like, I don't know, like you, when you look into an online coach, and I don't mean to like sound horrible now to online coaches that have part-time jobs and they're trying to make a living from it, try and find an online coach whose job is an online coach and not a builder who has 5 clients, because they just won't give you the attentiveness that you need. Like, sometimes, like with a coach that I had, I would message them on WhatsApp and it would be like 12, 13, 15 hours until I got a reply, like during the day. But the thing is, like on WhatsApp, you can see when they come in and out of like online, and I'm just thinking like, you're coming online, you're not speaking to me. So yeah, I was never really a fan of the WhatsApp messaging and sending plans over WhatsApp. Like, they literally sent me my meal plan on WhatsApp, like as a message, and like, just copy and paste this into your notes, mate. And I'm just like, okay, I don't know, it just wasn't really that great. And another coach I had was just, to be honest, looking back at it, I wasn't really ready for that kind of coaching. He was a savage, basically.
Okay.
So straight to the point. He did do prep coaching, but obviously at the time I wasn't prepping.
Yeah.
And I remember I was saying like, I find it really hard to stick to the calories. Like, should I do extra cardio? And he literally used to just like flip his lid at me on WhatsApp. And he messaged me saying, I've seen flavored water on your stories. That's not in your plan. Like, you really need to think about what you want here. And in the end, he ended up turning around to me and saying, you're not ready for this. And I was just like, okay. I think that knocked my confidence quite a lot. Like, that was probably 3 years ago now. And that was kind of when I was like, yeah, nah, fuck this. I'm not getting another coach. Like, no.
No, that's awful. I honestly think we had the same person in terms of the WhatsApp and the WhatsApp plans. And I have one of them saved on my phone because it just cracks me up. Like, it's in my phone still with the plan he sent me. And I don't even, so yeah, I had that, the whole WhatsApp group with these girls. And I have a client Facebook support group where people can input when they want to. I do like monthly challenges on there, and especially for the girls that are like local to me, like they've made friendships through there, and that's a lovely platform, and that's for them to use. Like, that's for them to post stuff, share stuff. Like, I think that's fab. But yeah, having these coaches who literally the support is a WhatsApp, like,
Yeah.
and I
Like,
made a
nowhere to
massive,
write anything. No,
yeah,
like, even like Google Documents are popular now, and I get that. But there
yeah, I
wasn't
don't,
even like Google Documents. It was literally just WhatsApp.
Yeah. It's
No.
it's not. I made it very clear as well with my clients when I got the app that I run my clients on, to message me on that app, because I had some that were messaging me through WhatsApp still, and I was like, no, it's all on here, because like I don't check my WhatsApp. Like I've got, like, my mum's messaged me like 2 weeks ago, I haven't fucking replied.
I say that to my clients. I say, honestly, don't WhatsApp me because you will get a slower reply.
or
I don't
Instagram.
reply to my friends. I reply to my clients
Yeah,
first, always.
yeah. Don't Instagram me. Don't do any of this. I won't reply. But it is just crazy, and it's almost like sickening, like when I see these coaches, and I don't even know, there's one of them and I don't even know if he was a coach at the time, but this is probably the worst plan I had. I think he was maybe the second coach I had, and I was doing like 8 weeks like holiday prep. Like I was like, I just want to lose weight for my holiday. I bought a one-off plan, which right there is a bad sign. One-off plan.
That's
What's
how
the
you know,
fucking
mate.
point?
That's how you know.
What's the fucking point of a one-off plan? You learn nothing. Please, if you are someone looking for a one-off plan, don't fucking bother. You're better off paying £9.99 a month for Shreddy than getting a one-off plan. They are the worst investment you could ever make. It was like 65 quid, and I shit you not, it was eggs and peanut butter for breakfast. Yep. And then my other meals consisted of 2 turkey meals with 340 grams of vegetables. That's like that many vegetables. I shit you not. One time it was a whole broccoli and 2 carrots for my dinner. And then so that was two of the meals. I then had another meal which was fish and the vegetables, and then I think my bedtime snack was egg whites and peanut butter again, and that's what I ate
Oh
for
my.
6 weeks, for 8 weeks. And it was the worst experience ever. And I was just like, I remember going into it like, this was before I was a PT, and I was like, oh, like this will be amazing, I'm gonna lose so much weight. Didn't take into consideration calories or anything. Like I was eating 340 grams of veg, my guts were rotten, I was in so much fucking pain from just
Oh my
all this
God,
veg.
yeah.
It was awful. Like, and it makes me laugh now, I'm sure you see this all the time, is coaches coaching coaches.
Coaching,
So like
coaching.
they teach
Oh,
coaches how to get clients. And I had a guy who, he was my coach for a little bit, and he now does that, and I just look and I'm like, it's,
oh, so he's like, he coaches, he doesn't coach clients, he coaches coaches now.
yeah, so he doesn't, and I think that's something that a lot of people are transitioning into. It's that whole like PT to online, and now you're an online coach, you're going to teach other coaches how to get clients, and he does that, and I'm just like, I could say so much shit about you, I'm like, I won't, but I could.
But I could. I've seen your plans and they are dog shit.
Yeah, and you're a cunt.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. The market for sort of like coaching mentors now is mad. Like I do get a lot of inquiry, not a lot, but I do get quite a few girls kind of approaching me who are looking into becoming an online coach, and they want me to like mentor them, and I think,
Yeah,
Jesus Christ, like that's not really my forte. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. You've had people snake you as well, haven't you?
Oh yes, mate. I have had the snakes. It's difficult because basically the way that my coaching works is that you don't have to sign a contract. So the minimum time you can do with me is 4 weeks. So what I now get, and it's difficult because how do I even go around this? I have girls who, rather than just coming to me and saying, hi G, I would like some advice on how to set up my online coaching business and how to grow my online coaching business, they decide that to play dumb and message me and email me, hi G, I'm a coach myself, but I really want some accountability and I'd love to join your team. So I'm like, right, okay, yep, fine. So I set them up as a normal client, obviously taking into account they're already a PT. And what happens is they've literally just paid me for a month and they literally just watch everything I do. So from step one, from the inquiry all the way through their setup into their first weeks, they watch exactly what I do. And then it comes to the end of their 4 weeks and I say, hi, lovely. Are you wanting to kind of continue? And surprise, surprise, they say no.
Mm.
because they've got what they wanted, they've got what they've come for, and now they're going to fuck off and they're going to literally copy me.
Yeah.
Like, no word of a lie. I had a
Mhm.
girl recently come on, and I just watched it happen before my eyes, mate. I just watched it happen. And then
Yeah.
she decided she wasn't going to continue because
Mhm.
X, Y, and Z. And next thing, she's using my terminology, she's using my software, she's using my setup. And I'm just like,
I
got to
think
try and
I've
take it
actually
as a
been
compliment, I
catfished.
suppose.
Yeah, I think it's after you saying what the girl said when she joined with you. We're going to have to see who this girl is, because I know the girl who I had, who I think actually catfished me. I know she
No.
followed you. So we're going to have to message after, because she literally exactly the same thing. I'm a personal trainer, but I really would like some accountability and some help. Amazing. Did not say a
Yeah.
word. Didn't say a word. The minimum, she did 2. So I do it where the minimum is 12 weeks. So they sign up for 12 weeks. They could pay up front, or they do like a monthly direct debit. And she did 2 months. I think I maybe managed to get 3 messages from her. Like I would like message her like every 3 days, like can you respond to
Mm.
me? She was putting stuff on Instagram. I'd message her Instagram and be like, I've messaged you, message me. Never did. So we
This,
might.
it might actually be the same girl, because my one, I'd watch her Instagram and I'd think, like, she's doing her workout right. I'm thinking that's not even in your plan. Like,
No.
she's not following. Like, no, like, obviously do what you like. If you don't want to follow the plan I give you, I don't really give a shit. But I was watching the stuff she's doing and I'm thinking that's not even on your plan, mate. Like,
God.
but yeah, I don't know. It's just funny, isn't it? Because I guess if I was to price up like my service and like to kind of mentor a coach, it would be way more than what I charge for a month. So I just think,
Yeah.
you cheeky little bastard, like, there's
Yeah.
just no need for it. It's just,
No.
oh.
But clearly, I mean, as well, I think it's quite easy to spot a good coach from a bad coach now. If you really look, it's quite easy to see who is genuine and who is fake. And it's clear to see that you are a fucking good coach and you work your arse off. And honestly, you should just be so proud of what you have managed to achieve. Like, honestly, I'm like rooting for you. And like it's funny, isn't it? Because you get some people and they're just envious, and honestly I just think, fucking go you. Like, you're doing so well, and you're helping to inspire other women as well to just work their fucking arse off. Because I think as well, like, I don't want to say mumtrepreneur, but like you would call yourself like entrepreneur and stuff like that. And I think it's very slim to find girls that are doing that right now. You see the guys staying up late, they're doing their reading, they're doing their research, they're prioritizing their health, their knowledge, and it's very slim to see girls doing that. And I just think it's so good that you are, because you're showing other girls what to do and how to do it as well. So I just think hats off to you, my dear.
Thank you. I mean, it's been crazy, and I do always say, oh my God, I'm so lucky to be in this position. But I can say that it does take hard work.
Mm,
Like, when I decided that I was going to really put my foot on the gas and try and make my business grow, I have had to like dedicate my whole life to it. Like, I didn't go out drinking. I didn't really go out. I wasn't dating any boys. I literally kind of just committed and said, like, if you really want to grow your business, you're going to have to work all
yeah.
day, every day. And that is the case. It doesn't get handed to you on a plate. Like, yeah, my coaching is at max right now and everything's working really well, but like, I don't stop. And like, it's
Mm,
just a lifestyle now, and you
yeah.
kind of, it's worth the reward. It's 100% worth the reward. And I
Yeah.
think that by itself is kind of what makes a good coach. Like,
Mm,
if your coach is somebody who takes ages to reply, and you can see that they're not really like giving their full potential to their
mm,
business, then you kind of already have your answer. Like, I would, yeah. So like, thank you. I mean, it does mean the world that you said that. Like, for me, I'm just doing my own little business, but it
yeah.
has it's blown up and it's crazy. And I'm not smart, I'm not knowledgeable, I'm not clever particularly. I've come from a background that my family were quite poor and I didn't go to uni.
Mm,
But I do want to kind of prove to women that if you really put your head into it and really commit, then you can actually do whatever the hell you want. Like,
yeah.
I remember one day I looked at my bank balance and it was like £43, and I thought, fuck,
Mm,
I need to do something here.
yeah.
Um, and
Yeah.
then yeah, you just kind of commit and fuck everything else off and just say, right, I'm
Yeah.
gonna work hard, and
Yeah.
yeah, kind of how it worked.
Yeah, 100%. I remember seeing as well, just you talking about like being sort of like down, like rock bottom. I remember watching you do your personal training course because I think I had maybe done mine about 6 months, maybe a year beforehand. I can't really remember. I don't know what year it is. We've been in isolation so long, it's all starting to merge together. But I remember you posting a video of you hosted something at your gym and like no one turned up, and you
Yeah.
shared that, and I was like, that is just so amazing because people need to see these ups and downs. Like, I'm more than happy to talk about mine now having a baby because it's so much harder, like, and 100%, like, obviously you're not going to have a baby anytime soon, but
No way.
no, but that is such a time constraint for me and my business, so it's almost like putting me in a
You're
cage
limited to
there.
what you can do, but it's for a good thing. It's for your bubba, isn't it?
Oh yeah, 100%. I wouldn't change it for the world. Like, if it was,
But what you have got to realize is that a lot of people who have a kid like you are sitting on their ass claiming benefits. And I
yeah,
feel like you have built your online coaching business regardless of whether you have a
mm,
baby or not. It's, yeah, okay, it takes up some time for you, don't get me wrong, but like, you haven't used that as an excuse
no,
to kind of throw in the towel and think, oh, I can't run my own business, I can't build my own business, I've got a baby. But you're not like that. You've just kind of just cracked on with it and
yeah,
done what you can with the sort of time and the tools that you have. So
yeah.
make you.
Oh, I literally couldn't. Like, it was so hard, and I was just like, I was like tossing and turning because I was like, I don't physically have the time to work on my clients, so I will not charge them, so I'm not happy to do so. And I was like, do I just be a stay-at-home mum, and or do I do this? And I was like, I fucking can't. I was like, I can't do it. Like, more, I would stay up until like 2 in the morning, like getting shit done, just because I was like, I can't. I need my own independence, I need my own money, and I need my business, and I need my girls. Like, I love my clients, like, I couldn't leave them. And I think as well, that's what makes a good coach, is knowing that they are fully invested in it. So what would you say is like your top three, or like just a few things to look for in like a good coach, or like what makes you a good coach?
Things that you want in a good coach is trust. Like, you want to be able to trust your coach and tell them everything. And I feel like it's kind of that thin line between your coach being too hard. Like, you don't want someone who's really tough on you and kind of says, that's no excuse, that's bullshit, you need to work harder. um but at the same time can sort of push you to be a better person and not sugarcoat it. I think that I make sure I do not sugarcoat anything for my
Yeah.
clients, and I do tell them how it is. If they come into a check-in and nothing's changed or they look worse, I say, look, I'm not being funny, mate, but you look worse this week.
Yeah.
um, but like I said, again, you want them to be able to trust you enough and to be able to feel like they can come to you and that they can tell you anything. And I feel like a lot of the clients who I've been with for months and months on end, I feel like I know them inside out. And I
Yeah.
know for a fact that if anything happened with them in their life, or if they messed up their diet, or if even if something happened in their family or with their boyfriend, I would be one of the first people to know about it,
Yeah.
because you build that trust and you build that relationship with a client. So I think being able to trust them and being able to sort of have that close relationship with them is important.
Yeah.
um Kind of just like I think response time is a massive one.
Mm,
Having a coach who, it depends client for client, because some clients aren't worried about the
mm,
fact that a coach takes a day to reply to them or 2 days to reply to them. But
mm.
especially for my target audience, which is general population women who are looking to sort of lose weight or tone up or build muscle, the anxiety and the kind of like, oh my God, like, like I don't know what to do. I'm going to send a message to my coach. They want that quick reply. They don't want to be waiting 4 days for a bloody check-in response.
Yeah.
So I think it does depend client to client on what's the best coach for you as a client. But for me, I would say trust, sort of being able to reply, know you're going to get a reply in the time that you want.
Mm-hmm.
And then just knowledge in the subject, I suppose that does help.
Yeah, 100%.
Not giving you a bodybuilder diet,
Yeah,
basically.
chicken, rice, veg, eat it, peanut butter,
Mm.
go away. I want to do, so we just did one of the questions. I have got 4 more questions that I want to end on. So I do a 5-question round now at the end of each chat. So we've done one, what makes being a good coach. The next one is biggest lesson you've learned being an online coach versus a personal trainer. So obviously you were a personal trainer before online, weren't you?
Yes. So I started doing one-to-one PT, and then actually I did online coaching first, but I transitioned over from one-to-one to online. And I would say that the biggest lesson I've learned is that online coaching is an office job. It is not
Yes.
personal training. Yeah.
No.
So you don't do any, you have to, some people seem to think that they're going to go from a PT and an online coach, and they're still, it's a completely different job role.
Yeah.
Like you're not a personal trainer anymore. You are a therapist. You work in admin, you have square eyes by the end of the day,
Yep.
you work at 5 a.m. and you work up until 10 p.m. And it's not into the gym, train for an hour, go home and have your lunch. It's you now work at a laptop,
Yep.
and it's not a 9 till 5, it's a 6 till 10, by
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more with that. And people, I think as well, people just don't get it. But that again is what you need to have a successful business, is putting in those extra hours. So I'm really happy you said that one.
It's the management of people. It's not the training. Like
No,
obviously you learn things from the training from being a one-to-one coach, but you now you manage people for a job.
yeah, 100%. I completely agree. And you're there for like a lot of things. I find that when I was a PT, again, it is like that whole therapy in the session of they're talking to you, but then it's kind of just for that hour. Whereas when you are online, especially when you've got a lot of online clients, you've got people doing it all the time. Oh, hello.
Sorry, carry on. Carry on. Sorry.
I won't edit that out. It's fine. What is your favorite thing about being an online coach?
For me, it's watching somebody's mindset change and watching somebody realize that they don't have to follow a diet for the rest of their life.
Yeah,
And it's kind of that switch from I'm following a diet, I fucked up my diet. I'm following a diet, I fucked up my diet, to working with me and realizing that they kind of step back after a couple of months and go, Jesus Christ, I've just changed my whole lifestyle. And
yeah,
it's kind of just happened before my eyes. And I'm like, yes,
yeah,
this is what's happened. So for me, it's watching someone blossom and watching somebody realize that actually they don't have to live a life of a restricted diet.
yeah, yeah. I've literally got goosebumps because it's so true. Like I always say, like I could have a client not lose any weight at all, but if their mindset has changed, I've done a good job. And it is true. Like it isn't just about the physical results, and it is about what you do to your head to get yourself in a good place in order to get results. And I think that's so important. What would be your advice to a new online coach?
Don't expect a million clients at once. It takes a good year of graft until you kind of find your feet, and your first couple of clients and your first couple of months of working as an online coach are going to be shit and you're not going to do a very good job, but you will sort of build on your experiences, and as long as you stick with it, you will do well. It's a word of mouth thing, and just commit to it. Don't do it on the side, don't half-ass it, just commit and be patient. And yeah, like good things don't come easy, basically.
Yeah. My last question is, what is next for Georgie Fit? Because you've got so much going on. I want to know what is next. I mean, you've got the Fit Bible, you've got the wraps, which I can't wait for. I'm gonna order some. and you've got a prep to start again when all this shit is over. But what else is next? Like, have you got anything planned?
So Fit Bible is coming. So we're going to be doing workout journals, logbooks, and the wrist straps. So with wrist straps that fit women. They're the two products that we have in the pipeline. In terms of me, I am hopefully, well, I will be prepping again in January next year. So for me now, my focus is just to sort of build up some more muscle, focus on my business, and then I will be back to dieting at the beginning of next year. And just kind of do my first year of competing and finally get my toes wet and kind of see how I feel. And then we will kind of make a decision from then. I didn't think that bodybuilding was going to be something that I did forever, but I don't know. I love it so far, so we will just see. I'm not gonna jump ahead of the gun. Is that the saying?
Jump the gun.
And just coaching will just rock out as it is. Like, it's just the response I have is overwhelming, and I just never seem to be able to get to the bottom of my waiting list. So long term, I feel like I'm gonna have to get my finger out my ass and make some more big business moves. But for now, we just sort of rock it out, get through lockdown, and then that's the plan of action.
I love it. Thank you so much for coming on here. It's been lovely.
No, bless you. It's been amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
You're so welcome, and thank you for watching, everyone.